Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adya Juneja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. US President Donald Trump says Chinese President Xi Jinping assured him that China will not supply military equipment to Iran. Calling it a big statement, he added that Xi emphasized China's reliance on Iranian oil and its desire to keep buying petroleum, while also expressing concerns over tolls being charged in the Strait of Hormuz. US President Donald Trump says China has expressed interest in purchasing American oil and soybeans. The announcement came after his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping during a state visit to Beijing. China, the key customer of Iranian oil, bought small amounts of US oil before. Trump imposed tariffs last year and has sharply slowed down purchases of US soybeans, turning instead to Brazil. Hundreds of Israeli nationalists marched through Jerusalem's Old City during the annual Jerusalem Day event, with some chanting anti-Arab slogans as many Palestinian residents stay indoors. The procession marked Israel's capture of East Jerusalem in the year 1967. Demonstrators waved flags and filled the streets near the Old City, while police maintained a heavy presence to prevent any clashes. The march underscored ongoing tensions in Jerusalem as official calls for unity contrasted sharply with the inflammatory chants heard during the event. Iraq's new Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi was sworn in on Thursday but entered office with only a partial cabinet after Parliament failed to agree on key posts, including the interior and defense portfolios. Lawmakers approved 14 ministers, naming Basim Mohammed as oil minister and retaining Fuad Hussein as foreign minister. Zaidi, a multimillionaire in his 40s with business interests in banking and Iraq's vast government food basket program, but he now faces daunting challenges including disarming Iran-backed militias, tackling entrenched corruption and balancing Iraq's ties between Washington and Tehran. Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, is reeling from one of the deadliest Russian aerial assaults in recent months. Officials say the death toll has climbed to at least 21 people, including 3 children, after Moscow launched a massive overnight barrage of drones and missiles on the city. Ukraine's Air Force reported that Russia launched 675 drones and 56 missiles, targeting mainly Kyiv. Air defense units intercepted 652 drones and 41 missiles, but several ballistic missiles penetrated defenses, striking residential areas and civilian infrastructure. Demonstrators gathered outside the South Carolina State House to protest proposed changes to congressional district maps as lawmakers consider redistricting plans that critics say could shift political power. Residents and activists accuse lawmakers of attempting to manipulate district boundaries for partisan advantage, calling it a power grab and an effort to influence election outcomes. Bolivia's political crisis deepened on Thursday as miners hurled firecrackers and clashed with police in La Paz, demanding President Rodrigo Paz's resignation. Protesters attempted to storm the vice president's office. Former President Jorge Tuto Quiroga warned the country was at a critical moment with democratic institutions under severe strain. The unrest marks an escalation of weeks of upheaval as miners reject dialogue and insist on the president's immediate departure. Cuban Energy Minister announced on state television that the oil reserves sent by Russia in March have now run out. Well, he declared the island has absolutely no fuel, no diesel left in its reserves, stressing that the only remaining resource is associated gas from domestic wells. The remarks highlight the severity of Cuba's energy shortage. In Santiago de Cuba, residents endure a blackout, spending more time outdoors for natural light. Streets were semi-deserted, traffic lights out, and some families resorted to cooking with charcoal. The outage underscores the deepening crisis which authorities blame on the US blockade. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is embarking on a 5-nation tour today, beginning with the United Arab Emirates before travelling to the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway and Italy. The trip is aimed at strengthening India's strategic and economic ties amid global geopolitical and energy challenges. The leaders are expected to discuss cooperation on trade, investment, clean energy and regional security as New Delhi seeks to deepen partnerships across Europe and the West Asia. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has appointed James Murray as the country's new health minister. Well, the move follows the resignation of Wes Streeting, who stepped down earlier in the day. Murray, a Labour MP, takes on the role at a critical time for the government as the National Health Service continues to face mounting pressures over staffing, wait lists and funding. The appointment underscores Starmer's efforts to maintain stability in his cabinet while addressing one of the most pressing issues for the British public. Streeting's departure marks a significant shift in the health portfolio, with Murray now tasked with steering policy and delivering on promises to improve patient care and reduce NHS backlogs. Solomon Islands lawmakers have elected opposition leader Matthew Whale as the country's new prime minister following a parliamentary vote on Friday. Matthew Whale secured 26 out of 49 votes in a secret ballot, officially confirmed by Governor-General David Tivakapu outside Parliament, while he replaces former Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele, who was removed earlier this month in a no-confidence motion. Whale said the country faces a difficult time amid global geopolitical tensions and urged national unity, calling on young people to play a role in the nation's development. At least 78 people have been killed and 66 wounded in recent gang clashes in the suburbs of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, since a week, according to the United Nations. The violence in Sete-Soule and Cuba de Bouquet has displaced more than 5,000 people, forcing many families to flee their homes. Doctors Without Borders say ongoing gun battles have overwhelmed hospitals and forced medical facilities to suspend operations. Haiti continues to face worsening gang violence as the new multinational anti-gang force begins deployment in the country. The Ecuadorian Defense Ministry has released footage of armed forces moving into Machala, a border city with Peru, said to be under narco control. Soldiers were seen dismantling structures linked to organized crime, while helicopters and drones flew over Puerto Bolívar, Machala's port. Defense Minister Giancarlo Lofredo announced a massive operation by air, sea and land, saying Puerto Bolívar will be completely surrounded and swept block by block, covering more than 1,600 homes to reclaim the area from organized armed groups. In Chile, police fired water cannons to disperse students marching against proposed education budget costs outside La Moneda Palace. Well, the protest was organized by associations of high school and university students opposing cuts to public education programs announced by the Ministry of Finance. Parents and students condemned President Jose Antonio Cast's plan, warning that cuts could eliminate the school meals program, which supports over 1 million vulnerable children. University students also voiced concerns, insisting that education must be protected and rejecting the government's austerity push. The protest highlighted growing tensions as caste pursues reforms aimed at reducing public spending while lowering corporate taxes. 4 people have been killed after a medical evacuation aircraft crashed in a remote mountainous area near Ruidoso, New Mexico on Thursday. The aircraft went down in the Caption Mountains, triggering a wildfire that spread across approximately 35 acres of forested land. Emergency crews confirmed that all 4 occupants on board were fatally injured, while investigators are working to determine the cause of the crash. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano showed increased activity, with scientists warning it could enter a new eruptive phase within hours. After a recent pause, one of the active figures began intermittently ejecting molten lava during the morning, with some eruptions producing lava fountains reaching over 1,000 feet. Japan is considering exporting surface-to-ship missiles to Philippines as part of its most assertive regional security strategy. Well, this comes following major overhaul of export rules, which allows sales of warships, missiles and other weapons abroad. If approved, the deal would mark a major shift in Japan's defense posture, strengthening ties with Manila and reshaping the balance of power in Asia. India has increased petrol and diesel prices by 3 rupees per litre across the country amid rising global crude oil prices, which is linked to the ongoing West Asia conflict. In Delhi, petrol now costs 97 rupees 77 paise per litre, while diesel has risen to 90 rupees 67 paise. Brent crude continues to trade above $100 per barrel as tensions around the Strait of Hormuz disrupt global energy markets. The government says India has enough fuel stocks and there is no shortage, even as it urges fuel conservation during the ongoing global energy crisis. South Korea's Kospi Index crossed the 8,000 mark for the first time, driven by a massive rally in AI-related technology stocks and semiconductor giants like Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix. The benchmark index has surged from around 2,600 points just a year ago, as global demand for AI data centers boosts chip sales and company earnings. Samsung shares are up nearly 190% in 6 months, while SK Hynix has gained over 220%, with investors betting big on the future of artificial intelligence. Going back to oil now, oil prices climbed on Friday as fears over ship attacks and seizures near the Strait of Hormuz continued to rattle global energy markets. Brent rose above $106 a barrel, while crude crossed $101, even as Iran said around 30 vessels had passed through the strategic shipping route. Concerns remain high after reports of an Iranian vessel seizure near the UAE and the sinking of an Indian cargo ship off Oman, with traders warning that tight oil supply is still driving prices higher. Gold prices fell to a more than 1-week low and were headed for a weekly loss as rising oil prices fueled fears of higher inflation and prolonged interest rates. Spot gold dropped nearly 2% this week amid continued tensions around the Strait of Hormuz. Investors are now closely watching talks between US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping as markets look for signals on global trade and geopolitical stability. Japan will form a public-private working group this week to address cybersecurity risks to the financial system posed by Anthropic's new AI model Mythos. The group will bring together 36 entities including major banks, the Bank of Japan, regulators and tech firms including Anthropic and OpenAI. The initiative aims to build a shared understanding of AI-driven threats and develop response strategies for the financial sector with inputs from the US government. The working group is expected to hold its first meeting on Thursday and will be chaired by Mizuho Financial Group's Chief Information Security Officer Osamu Terai. Britain's Competition and Markets Authority has launched a formal investigation into Microsoft's dominance in the business software market under its new strategic market status powers. The regulator will examine whether the bundling of key products like Windows, Microsoft Office applications, Teams, Copilot and other enterprise tools reduces competition and makes it harder for rival companies to compete in the UK market. The probe will also study Microsoft's strong position in cloud computing and whether its licensing practices create barriers for businesses trying to switch to alternative providers. Anthropic and the Gates Foundation have announced a $200 million partnership to support public good applications of artificial intelligence across health, education and scientific research over the next 4 years. The funding will be split between direct financial giants from the Gates Foundation and technical support from Anthropic, including cloud AI usage credits and engineering expertise. The initiative aims to ensure AI benefits underserved regions and addresses concerns that advanced technologies could widen inequality or remain limited to wealthy markets. The United States and China held discussions in Beijing on artificial intelligence safety guardrails, agreeing to work together and towards a protocol of best practices aimed at preventing misuse of advanced AI systems by non-state and criminal actors. US officials emphasized that maintaining America's lead in AI was a key priority, while ensuring innovation was not slowed by over-regulation. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the focus was on balancing innovation with strong safety standards and risk controls. The Eurovision Song Contest has entered its final stages following the recent booing of the Israeli contestant. Austrian authorities have now deployed a multi-layered security operation. All entrance points have included detection dogs and specialized units. The force includes Cobra counter-terror units, drone defense teams. Nearly 16,000 staff members have been stationed after rigorous vetting to ensure the safety of the 30,000 fans expected to descend upon the city. The highly anticipated K-drama See You at Work Tomorrow is officially making its international debut. The series follows the high-stakes lives of marketing executives who find that the only thing more complicated than a quarterly budget is a secret office attraction. Starring Park Ji-hyun, this drama is expected to release on June 22nd. Pop sensation Dua Lipa has officially announced Dua Lipa Live from Mexico, a dual-release concert film and live album that captures the high-octane energy of her performance in Mexico City. The project promises to showcase the reimagined versions of her biggest hits, featuring the vibrant choreography and radical optimism aesthetic that have defined her current era. The red carpet glowed with a different kind of brilliance last night as icons like Demi Moore and Diane Kruger led the charge at the annual Women in Cinema Gala. The event, which celebrates the trailblazing achievements of women behind and in front of the camera, saw a gathering of Hollywood's most influential voices. Moore joined Kruger and a host of international filmmakers to discuss the evolving landscape of the industry. Rock pioneers Anne and Nancy Wilson of Heart were officially inducted and honored at this year's Grammy Hall of Fame Gala. The sisters, who broke through the glass ceiling of 70s rock with powerhouse vocals, received a standing ovation from their peers. The gala featured tribute performances of classics like Barracuda and Alone.
What do you think it is that resonates?
Well, that is it in this edition. News and updates will continue on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One.